Check out the link in the description below and you can find a worksheet that goes along with this lesson. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at doing rolls with the right hand. And this is a really great way to add some expression into the music you play. So if you ever see a set of notes, let's say if we're just going to play the open strings as a block chord where the notes are all stacked vertically together, if you're looking at tablature or standard notation of sheet music, or if you're just playing the notes with your right hand all together, thumb, index, middle, and ring on the fourth, third, second, and high string. You can first practice just planting your fingers down on the string and then playing a chord where you just bring your fingers back into the palm of the hand and the thumb touches the index finger, just right on the side there. So first, set up your hand, get ready to play a chord, and just try to play all the notes all together. I call this a block chord. It's all the notes at once, just like if you're strumming really quickly through the strings, you're going to hear basically all the notes all at once. But for expression, sometimes, like if you're going to do a slow strum, you can separate the notes. Hear how each note is from low to high is separated. I'm using a low G tuning, and you can use this with a high G tuning as well. It works great. So first thing you could do is just with your index finger, just try sweep through the strings, and the same thing with your thumb. You're just doing a brush across the strings. You hear the separation of notes. Now when we roll a chord playing fingerstyle, we want to do the same thing, but with our fingers planting, then one at a time, you release the fingers. So see how it's a very similar effect. I'll use my thumb and separate the notes. Now I'll do a roll with my fingers. So I plant all the fingers in place, and then one at a time, starting from the thumb, index, middle, and ring, I move my way up. And the way that we do these rolls often is you're going to try to land on the beat of the chord that you're going to play, and you're anticipating it. These are like what are called grace notes. You're starting before the note. So 4, 1. Right when I say 1, if I'm counting, I'm going to be playing with my ring finger on the high string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. If I just play that high string, you can start to feel the beat. Let's say if I'm doing half notes, 2 counts. 1, 2, 3. If I roll, I'm going to anticipate that just slightly. So I'm still in time. I'm still landing right on the beat. That's the trick. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's work on building this technique. What you first want to do is just plant your fingers down on the strings. Let's try a slow ascending arpeggio to feel each finger moving off the string. Thumb, index, middle, and then ring. Then plant, so all the fingers are down, and try it again. Then you can start picking up the speed. And then it becomes a roll. And the speed of the roll can vary. If you slow it down, it's going to sound more expressive and open and free. And if you do it very quickly, it can be very intense. So you can practice getting control with your right hand of how fast that roll wants to be. Typically, you start around somewhere between the end and the last 16th note of the last beat, and before preceding the downbeat would be. So let's say if I'm going to go on the end of 4 into 1. So 3 and 4 and 1. I held a C chord there. And if you're going at a very slow tempo, it's a little bit later than that. 3 and 4 and 1. So that was maybe somewhere around the 16th note or so, the last 16th note, 4 E and A 1, 4 E and A 1. Right, so you're feeling those notes. It doesn't have to be exactly defined, but it's somewhere in that area of when you start. Just the main thing is you start a little before the beat. So first, now that you got that technique, let's try to play with the ring finger on the high string. Let's just establish a nice tempo there. Let's play quarter notes. And I'm going to try to keep that going, but every other beat, On 1 and 3, I'm going to roll a chord. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have a nice steady rhythm with a roll. Now, how would you apply this to playing a piece? Let's say if you're playing a song that has lots of these block chords, you can start adding in the rolls, or you might just put them in every now and then for emphasis when you want to bring out sound or have more expression in the music. So let's say if I'm going to play a piece in the key of C, I'm just going to go between C, G7, F, and then back to C. And I'm going to play a repeated melody on the high string with rolls. So it's a very beautiful sound. I'll do it very slowly. So I'm playing a roll on C, then I just play high C, I change to a G7, then play a high B, an F with an A, open high string, then back to C. So C, then just melody. G7, you roll the chord, then just melody. F, then just melody, back to C. Try that. G7, F, then back to C. Last time, C, G7, F, and then back to C. So if I was doing that with my thumb, I would just be brushing through the strings. And you can get a similar effect. What's nice with the fingers, you can really separate, and if I want to accent or bring out more volume out of the high note, I can dig in a little bit more with that note. You can change the color and the texture of the different notes when you're using individual fingers, which is a really great thing. Add a little vibrato in there. Very nice. I'll do a very slow roll. Now I'll do a quick one. I'm just playing through the notes more quickly, but still placing it, so I'm still playing in rhythm. Those melody notes are still right on the beat. We're hearing this. That's not affected by the roll. So that's something to work on, is trying to work with a metronome and try to get a real consistent tempo as you apply this technique. And if that's still too difficult as you start trying this, just go back to playing arpeggiation very slowly. Just get used to that idea of planting your fingers down, then one at a time, releasing thumb, index, middle, ring, plant. It's really important that you start by touching the strings, get your fingers in place, then you're ready to play the roll. But just starting with a nice flowing arpeggio, starting with that plant each time, that's really going to help you. Okay, well, have fun adding some rolls, some chordal rolls to your music, and I will see you again very soon. Mahalo.